Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makar Kudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days. This is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch. This will serve as a brief video inspired by, a flurry of articles that I've come across within the last few days. And all of these articles in some way, pertain onto the advancement of the MOTB system. All of these articles in some way pertain onto the MOTB system spoken of in Revelations 13 and 15 on down. All right. Now, the first one that we have here on the screen, which was released today, is entitled Jamaica Becomes First Country to Make a CBDC Legal Tender. All right. And I'd done a video on this probably about a month ago. They were talking about how they were in the last, developing stages. But now, it's actually official. All right. Jamaica has become the first country to make the CBDC legal tender. And this is a major, advancement concerning biblical prophecy concerning the mandatory implementation of the MOTB, and also concerning the inevitable cashless society, that's going to be manifested upon the face of the world. And this leads into the second article that I have here loaded up, which is dated Wednesday the 8th of June 2022. And it says, a German bank wants its customers to go cashless. No, really, all right? And what this article is basically, focusing on is how this particular German bank, which is not the first one, literally wants to start shutting down, their branches and be completely cashless. And, all banks are going to go, the same way, because you've had a very large amount of branches, various, different bank branches over here in the UK shutting down. You've had hundreds upon hundreds of cash points in the UK that have been removed. All right, literally hundreds, if not thousands of cash points. I believe over there in the land of America, you call them ATMs. You've had hundreds, if not thousands of these ATMs removed, okay, to further incentivize to the people not to use cash and not to have access to tangible cash, but to use things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, so on and so forth, because everything is going digital. All right. So them removing, all of those cash points, was a great way, like I said, to, push out that incentive that, cash is no longer a thing that's needed in society. All right. Cash is no longer a thing that's needed in society. Even when you really, think about and meditate upon how many times, you actually use tangible cash in this world, it's very limited. All right. Because the world is set up for you to use your phone to pay, for your goods. The world is set up for you to use, your Apple Watch to pay for your goods. Some people have Apple Watches and they link their card to their Apple Watch, So everything has been, geared towards not using cash. Okay. Over here in the UK, we have something called the Oyster card, which is basically what you use to get on public transport. And without that card, particularly in London, you won't be able to use public transport. And I actually remember, when that first came out, many years ago, I've actually seen, people get turned away, from the bus for not having an Oyster card, which is an electronic card that you have to electronically top up with cash. And without that card, you can't get on the bus. All right. And I remember, because it was such a drastic switch, for a good few months, people were trying to use the buses without the card, because they were used to paying cash, and they were getting denied. Okay. So it took, a few months for people to acclimatize, to that system of not using, physical money, on the transport system. And it's going to be the same, when they do away with cash. All right. You're going to have people that, particularly old people, that always comes up, that are not going to be tech savvy, enough to use this new MOTB system, but they'll find a way around that. All right. But that's not their main concern. Their main concern is to completely do away with cash. Okay. Now, the next article I have here is taken from The Guardian. And it reads here, UK credit card borrowing rises at fastest annual rate for 17 years. All right. UK credit card borrowing rises at fastest annual rate for 17 years. Now, this is a result of the, the cost of living crisis that's been going on in various parts of the world, in particular the UK. You have a cost of living crisis. You have, as a result, as they are portraying to us, due to this Russia/Ukraine, invasion, you have a shortage in, particular grains. You have a shortage in sunflower oil in particular. And you have a rise, in energy prices that they're blaming on, this conflict between, Russia and the Ukraine, all right, which is hurting people's pockets on many, different levels, which we know, a lot of the information they're putting out there is set up, and this is all designed, once again, to lead to, a cashless society, to lead to the MOTB system. So you have many different things happening at the same time, all right, that seem like they're not connected. But when you really put the pieces together, each and every one of these articles and scenarios all lead to, the same thing. They all lead to the MOTB system, and they all strengthen, the idea of the MOTB system, being implemented throughout the four corners of the globe. And that's why, the scriptures speak about, the mind of Esau Edom being deep. All right, because he's able, through many different ways and means and techniques to, cause, particular things to happen, in society financially, concerning the people, concerning wages, all right, pit people against each other, create divides in society, divide and conquer, so on and so forth, all in order to aid, his agenda of what he wants to do with this great reset, all right? And it all folds into one. Now it says here, credit card borrowing is rising at its fastest annual rate in 17 years, the Bank of England said on Tuesday, with analysts warning a recession looks increasingly likely as growing numbers of households go into debt to make ends meet, all right? Now, wages have not significantly gone up. However, the cost of living has dramatically gone up, which means now more people are having to borrow money, from these credit card companies and now put themselves into debt, all right? So this makes the people more liable on who? More liable on these private companies and more liable on the government, all right? So sooner or later, everything is going to implode upon itself, all right? Everything is going to crash, all right? It's an inevitable process, all right? When you survey, what's really happening, regarding the borrowing, regarding the house prices, regarding, rent going up, so on and so forth, everything is going to have to implode, all right? And people are going to lose it because they're not going to be able to survive no more in society, living under these conditions, man. So this is what Esau Edom actually wants, all right? Because he wants a new world order system. And this is a method that we call order ab chaos, all right, creating order from complete and utter chaos throughout the four corners of the globe, all right. And it says here the annual growth rate for credit card borrowing hit 11.6% in April, the highest figure since November 2005. The rate for all consumer credit increased to 5.7% in April from 5.2% in March, rising faster than at any time just before the pandemic. The latest data shows a divided nation. Analysts said with millions borrowing money to buy food while others splashed out on treats and luxuries using their credit cards, all right? So they said it right there, a divided nation, okay? And that's what it's all about, all right? That's what Esau is creating, because that's the best way to conquer and rule a people is by dividing them first and pitting them against each other, all right? So you have the middle class, you have those that are well off, and then you have the utter poor that are at the bottom. All right. But soon, when everything crashes, everyone is going to be put on the same level. Mass majority of the people are going to be put on the same level overnight. All right. And this is going to be a major thing. And that's what's going to cause people to completely lose it. Now, it says here, figures were an ominous sign of the mounting pressure on household finances. It added using credit to cover essentials costs like food and energy is often a sure sign of financial difficulty. Yeah. When you start borrowing money just to, sustain yourself and buy them bare necessities, that's a major problem in society. All right. And that's what's happening with the vast majority of people at the lower and at the middle class. They're borrowing literally just to survive. All right. And then the wage that they're getting at the end of the month is not going to be enough to cover, the amount that they're borrowing, which is going to lead to more and more and more debt. And that's exactly, the position that they want the people in, a vulnerable state. So when they bring forth, this MOTB, this incision, all right, that people are going to have to take, you're already going to be in a position, all right, of a difficulty, all right. You're already going to be in a position where you're going to be coming to the government on your knees. And you're not going to have anything to bargain with, all right? You're going to be in complete servitude to the government and asking for a way out, all right? And that's a great way for them to get people to take, the MOTB, one of many ways that they will use, all right? Now, I believe there might have been one more article that I had. Well, actually, there's two more. Let's go into these ones briefly. Now, this is on the technology side of things concerning AI. Now, it says here, new AI photonic CHIP can detect, identify, and classify 2 billion images per second. All right, I'll read that again. New AI photonic CHIP can detect, identify, and classify 2 billion images per second. Now, that's some very, very powerful technology. All right, and if you notice, on the technology side of things, things have been advancing, week by week. You're getting these articles talking about how they're now able to, give people their sight back. They're able to allow people that are unable to speak, to speak through machines, so on and so forth. You're having a whole load of advancements. And it tells us in the book of Daniel's how knowledge is going to increase in the last days. And this is being fulfilled. All right. This is being fulfilled, man. All right, in many different ways. And, this technology that we read about, concerning, these highly advanced CHIPs, this is all technology that's going to be infused with the MOTB, all right? And it's going to be part, of the wonders, all right, that's going to woe the people and seduce them into taking the MOTB in the pretense of bettering your life and, aiding your life and making it more simpler, all right? Because that's the point of sale that Esau has been pushing, all right? Especially upon people that are, if you will, disabled and that have ailments, all right? He's always appealing to those and appealing to their needs, all right? Giving them the ability to walk, going into transhumanism, making your body stronger, getting rid of stress, by altering, your emotions through your brain. Okay, all of these things, Esau has been proposing and putting on the table is all to seduce you into taking the MOTB, that digital all. All right, because that's what it's all about. And he's using, these different policies, these different laws that he's putting into place in order to get his way. Now, the next article I had here, all right, going into the economy again, it's almost 500,000 UK small businesses at risk of going bust within weeks. Okay, almost 500,000, that's 500,000 UK small businesses at risk of going bust within weeks. All right, it says here, Federation of Small Businesses calls on Rishi Sunak for more support to deal with ticking time bomb. And it is a ticking time bomb. All right, because all of these problems, all of these scenarios have been manufactured by the powers that be in order to cause a great collapse in society. All right, which is going to force them to propose this this digital reset, this new world order system that they want to implement into society. That's what the WEF is all about, the World Economic Forum. All right, they're talking about these things all the time. All right, they're having sit downs and meetings and seminars, about these very topics all the time and how they're going to deal with it. All right, so this has been planned. All right, all of these things are not happening, through sheer coincidence. All right, this is happening through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakudash. Now it says here, rising costs have created a ticking time bomb for UK small business owners. The chairman of the Federation of Small Businesses has warned with almost 500,000 firms at risk of going bust within weeks without a fresh wave of government support. All right, so you have 500,000 companies in the UK that are currently right now at risk of going bust. Okay, and that's a lot of businesses, because I remember during the time of the pandemic a few years ago, I remember, visiting a lot of these independent stores, especially concerning, Elam, as part of my job. And I remember the stories that they were telling me, how they couldn't afford to stay open. Many of them actually closed down. All right, there were stores that I used to, visit, for particular meetings, so on and so forth. And I would get there and literally the store was closed down. All right, and that was just, from the CV19. Okay, being shut, for months on end, that completely crippled their businesses. So how much more now? All right, how much more now? You have this this new this new monkey business, that's risen to the surface now, which that might cause a whole other flurry, of L downs, so on and so forth. So we'll just watch and see how that develops. But by the looks of it, they're looking to cause more damage on an economic wave. All right, and we're all for it. We're all for it, man. We're all for the collapse of Esau Edom's kingdom. All right. Now, that's all the articles, that I had. Now let's get into a few scriptures, and then we'll close out, and then onto the next video, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So this is 2 Corinthians. What's that? What's that? 2 and 11. Let's see if it pops. So yep, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, so we're not ignorant, of all of these methods. All right, all of these agendas, all of these plans, all of these policies, that Esau will be put into place. We know what's going on. All right, we are enlightened, with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, of these scriptures, and we understand the prophecies. So none of these things, are happening, outside of our radar. We know what's going on, and that's the beautiful thing about having this truth, is that we have the ability, to watch what's happening in real time in the world, and we're able to filter it, through the Holy Scriptures. All right, and that's a gift. All right, because not everyone is able to do that. You know, only a chosen few upon the face of the earth are able to filter the events in real time upon the face of the earth through the scriptures and actually tell you what's happening according to the Holy Bible. All right, because this is a living book. All right, this is a living book. Why do you think we're able to make, you know, so much videos, you know, on current and future events? All right, because we're actually using a living book. The information is coming straight from the heavens. All right, we are streaming straight from the, you know, the throne of Yahweh Shimi Yahushai. All right, and there's no other, you know, religion that's able to say the same thing, that's able to do the same thing, that has the power of prophecy on its side. Okay, and that's why we stay, you know, making these videos. We stay filtering, you know, current events through the Holy Scriptures, man, until our Lord makes his return. All right. Now, let me get the one in Daniel's, you know, regarding the policy, because all of these changes, you know, that are being made to aid, you know, the NWO system, it's all being passed, you know, through Esau's law system. All right. Oftentimes, you know, all of these laws that are passed, you know, you have, you know, people miss them. All right. People miss when they're actually signed, you know, into law, because there's other distractions happening. All right. That's why, you know, the bread and circuses is so important to Esau's society. All right. To keep the wool over people's eyes and to keep them, you know, their attention diverted from what's really happening in the world. Now, this is Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. So through his policy, he causes craft to prosper in his hand. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing all of these, you know, policies, all right, that Esau is putting forth, and, you know, putting particular, you know, laws, so on and so forth into law. And he's causing that craft to prosper. All right. He's causing all of these agendas to literally come to life. All right. Because all of these nations are in on it. All right. All of these nations are in on it in some way or some form. Now, they have their differences, but one thing, you know, they're all in cahoots with is the fact that they want to have, you know, a system where tangible money, you know, cash is not going to be used and everything is going to go digital, because that gives them a great amount of power and control over the people. All right. That gets rid of the, you know, the ability for you to, you know, make cash in hand. Okay. For you not to, you know, go through, you know, the official system and get taxed. That gets rid of a lot of, you know, so-called crime, you know, in society. It gets rid of a lot of fraud. Okay. It gets rid of a lot of things that Esau does, all right? Because Esau has loopholes, especially them Edomites, you know, high up. You know, they know how to manipulate the law to suit them. They know how to use particular loopholes, and that ain't going to change, all right? Even when they bring forth this cashless society, them Edomites are still going to be able to use them loopholes and use it to their advantage. They're going to make sure they can, all right? But for you, you know, for the average person, all right, for the common person that's underneath the elite, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be completely restricted. You're going to be completely controlled by the elite, and that's exactly what they want. All right. So I'm going to end this video here. Lord willing, it was edifying unto you brothers out there and few sisters listening and learning. And until the next one, I'll say shalom.